What's up, guys? Welcome to the Honest Tattooer podcast. What? I'm doing the intro?
Oh, snap.
John's not here.
Where's he at?
John is tattooing. He'll be down with us in a minute, though.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Honest Tattooer podcast, brought to you by Tattoo Smart, Tattoo Pro, and Steadfast Tattoo Supplies. My name is John Mesa. I'm joined by my co-host, Matriano.
Hey, how you doing?
G Money in the house, and our very special guest. But before we introduce them, make sure that you like this video. Make sure that you are supporting the podcast because it really does mean a lot to us. And make sure that you visit our website, honesttattooer.com, and of course, visit our sponsors.
Also, before we say anything else, Tattoo Smart offered our followers and our listeners a 25% off discount. They raised their discount from 20% to 25% off of anything that you want to purchase at tattoosmart.com. So be sure to check that out also and get that discount.
Oh, that's a sweet deal.
Cool.
And now on to the show and on to our guests. Akos, how are you, man?
Hi, I'm very good. Thank you so much.
Good. Welcome to the
having me.
podcast. So for those that don't know you, let them know your name, where you're from, and how long you've been tattooing.
My name is Akos Strener. I'm from Hungary. I'm tattooing since 1998, and I'm doing black and gray realism portraits mainly.
So we met actually at your art show, and which was awesome.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Kudos, man. And like we found out that day that you haven't even been painting for that long.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, this is fucking phenomenal.
Only a year, yes.
So I'm going to let you guys kind of dive into this conversation. Unfortunately, I got to run out and finish the tattoo, guys, like a jerk, but you guys have fun. I'll be right back.
You'll be missed, buddy.
Hi.
Where are you working now?
The Hustler Butter Tattoo Gallery here in Soho, New York City.
Yeah.
Nice. With
So-
the homie, Richie Bulldog.
With the homie Richie Bulldog.
Shout out Richie.
Yeah. He's a man.
So a few weeks ago, we went to see your art show
Yeah.
over at Hustle Butter. That was amazing, dude.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
That was my first show ever.
You haven't been painting that long.
No? Well, a year.
That's
No.
not that long.
Yeah.
For the quality of work that you were putting out, it was really, really impressive.
I really appreciate it. Yeah, it means a lot to me. Thank you.
What made you want to just get into painting like that?
Actually, I didn't even want to. We had our first show in the gallery like a year ago, and that kind of inspired me.
Yeah.
I thought I need to do something, and I just started painting, and yeah. And I think in the beginning, Richie didn't really believe in me.
Oh, no, really?
Because I'm a goofball, so he thought I was joking, and he started seeing my work, and it's like, oh, we have to do something. We have to do something for you too. So I started working towards that, and you guys see what happened.
Yeah, it was incredible.
Thank you.
Oil paint, right?
Yeah. First I tried acrylic, and I didn't really like it, and somehow oil just spoke to me.
It clicked.
Yeah, it was like so easy,
Nice.
so natural. Yeah.
Was it the way that you can manipulate it if it
Yeah.
stays wet? Like
Yeah.
the blendability of it?
Yes, yeah. First, obviously, I had to get used to it a little bit. Like I had to experiment. Like, when can I go back on the same area? How long I have to wait, but more than the acrylic. So
It's like tattooing, right?
yeah,
You can't overwork it.
yeah,
You got to let it heal. You got to let it dry.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
what I did not like about oil paints. When I was in college, we dabbled with all different mediums, and oil was the one that I was like, man, I just want to get this over with. I don't want to have to wait for it to dry. I don't want to have to I don't have to worry about overworking anything. So I really, I clicked with acrylic paint to the point where at times I would have like my paint and my brush in one hand and a blow dryer in the other. So I could just work that much
Oh,
faster,
wow.
dry stuff while I'm painting.
Somebody told me exactly the same thing just like a week ago or
Yeah?
so. Yeah. I can't imagine how to.
Yeah, when you want something done quick, man, you got to figure out ways to do it. My wife bought like a painting kit. It came with like an instructional video. It came with paints and canvas and all that. And you watch the video and the instructor tells you how to paint, kind of like similar to like those sip and paint event nights that people do.
Yeah.
So my son was painting a toucan and going along with the video, and as a little kid might do, he was just globbing paint on, and it's acrylic paint, it's going to dry, but like the amount of paint that he was putting on the canvas, it was not drying as fast as like he could keep up with the video, right? So I taught him that trick. I was like, all right, let's go get the hair blower and we'll start drying your stuff as the video's playing. And he was so blown away. He was like, oh man, this is so cool. So now like whenever he paints, he's like, Daddy, go get the blow dryer, hurry up. It's funny though. But yeah, your paintings were super inspiring. It made me wish that I didn't stop doing traditional painting because I'm all digital now.
I did that before. But my problem was actually, it was really good because you just take your iPad with you, you go to like a bakery or coffee shop, something, you sit down, watching people walking by. In the meantime, you do art.
Yeah.
You get people talking to you about it, which is not my favorite part.
Yeah.
But I think with the physical art is a little bit different. It's like something you may. I never felt with Procreate that it's something real that I created. I don't know what it is, and also like good luck giving a digital gift to someone, as opposed to like a real painting that you can.
There's definitely a value difference for sure.
Yeah. So I think that the digital art, it's kind of like a little bit cheap. It seems cheaper for me.
I would have to agree with that.
Yeah.
We've had many conversations on like the podcast about that, and I get a lot of pushback, but I see what you're talking about.
No, I think that more people side with you than they side with me.
Oh.
No, but I understand your point because I think it's so convenient to work on, and also like because I did like so many like color portraits with Procreate, and I still like, but I got to a point where it's not because I'm so good. I think Procreate is that good that it was like almost indistinguishable from a photograph because I was so like almost
you can
like
just really render hyper render.
Yeah, so it's also like, okay, so this is art. If you post it, there's like people think like you're posting a photo or or like it's not even your work or So I think that was my problem with it. Like maybe I need something that like something physical.
Yeah, there is a lot of pushback in the terms of like the different types of brushes and the effects that you can get on Procreate or any other digital painting app. So like there's an artist that I follow. Her name's Laura Rubin, and she does really, really good like surrealistic portraits. They're realism, but they're kind of like a little exaggerated, if you will. But the amount of detail that she gets, it makes it look like the skin texture is so real, and it's really, really impressive. But then when you watch her process, all those skin textures are just one brush, and it's just like adding that texture into it. On itself. So she's not actually going in with like a fine detail brush and like you would with like if you're doing like a realism portrait and like a fine hairbrush and get all those like creases and little pores and everything. Like that's just one little stamp.
That
and
stuff
it's done.
does not blow me away at all.
No, I mean I agree. Like when you see it, when you just see it and you don't know the process behind it and you're like, oh look, this person created this image. Yeah. It's impressive. But when you see the process of it, I fully understand and I agree that it takes a lot of that like wow factor away from it.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same as where you see a reproduction of like, let's say a black and gray realism artist, and they're taking a photorealistic reference, right? And they're translating that on skin. It doesn't matter how well rendered your tattoo stencil is. You still have to go in there detail by detail, manipulating that needle to create the effect. So ultimately, like you translates onto the skin, your style, your hand movement, your everything. So, with digital, forget about it. I mean, like he said, you can literally make it as close to like as manicured, as close to the photo as possible to where the viewer can no longer distinguish which one is the actual reference.
Actually what you just said about like tattooing as well, this is why somehow I never felt like I was like a real artist, because I'm doing like realism and it's like basically just like copying something, you know, even if it's like you make a design or something. Somehow, like the old school tattooers, they don't really have the sort of respect for the realistic artists, and I never felt like it. So that's why I always thought that I need to do something else, which is like more artistic. So that's why I think that helped me start painting.
Yeah, where you can like express yourself a little bit more.
Yeah.
So in your paintings, do you stencil them also similar to how you would tattoo, or did you actually freehand draw those portraits?
Both. Sometimes I just do freehand.
Yeah.
Sometimes I stencil because that's, you know, like gives me the accuracy that I need. But
Yeah.
but I do portraits without, just like, you know.
Hey, I'm Russ Abbott. I am the founder of Tattoo Smart. I've also been tattooing for over 25 years. I use digital design tools in my tattoo process every day. And in this case, this video is going to explain a new product that I just created called the washi set. Now, the washi set is 17 handmade papers from Japan that I photographed and then turned into paper texture backgrounds, which you can use in Procreate. It also includes 21 different brushes that were designed for using with these papers, or it could be used with any background that you choose. As always, if you're interested in purchasing this or any of our other products, you can get them at tattoosmart.com.
I said it a while ago, and I still stand by it. I think there's a lot of tattooers who claim to be realism artists, but if they had to do it without tracing a picture and making their stencil, they'd fall short.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it's, you know, and I'm guilty of that, you know, because I don't feel like, at least before I started painting, I didn't really feel like I was like an artist. I was just like a technician, tattoo technician, whatever,
Yeah.
you know. And I understand that like my work can stand out from certain, you know, other artists, but I still, it's just, you know, basically copying.
That's what's funny about the tattoo world and their different styles.
Oh yeah,
Everyone's like, oh, that's not real tattoo, and then the other is like, oh, that's not real tattoo.
it's gonna fall out
Yeah,
in the air.
yeah.
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 But your work is so solid, though.
Yeah.
Like, does anybody ever say anything like that to you about your work? About it, like, not healing well, or like, oh, that's not going to last?
Not really.
Yeah.
I'm just, you know, I'm just reading about it and like hear
Yeah.
people talking.
Yeah.
So you know, it's coming from my, you know, low self-esteem as well. Like
No,
I don't
of
really
course.
think highly of myself.
No, you should, man.
Often.
Your work is
Yeah,
incredible.
it's incredible. And also
Thank
like
you.
it's let's just state the facts here. It's don't get butthurt, people. It's not color realism. It has black, which means that it's gonna stand the test of time, you know, and there
What-
aren't like 5 different beige tones making up a cheek, you know, that are gonna just completely fade out in 5 years.
That's something that we just don't know yet, because you haven't seen like a 20-year-old like color portrait, because it just did not exist
Yeah.
that long ago. So.
But we're already seeing like 5 to 10 year ones, and they are gone.
Well, let's really think about that. I mean, how long ago was it that Mike DeVries was coming out with all those really nice portraits? That has to be at least 20 years ago, right?
At least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder what those look like now, though.
Ooh.
Just look at Sylvester Stallone. He has some
Yeah.
work from here, and I've seen some of his old tattoos done by him.
Yeah.
Mike.
So, well, I read about this situation, and Mike DeVries said that Sylvester Stallone was the absolute worst client he ever had to deal with.
Wow.
So
I
that might
wonder
have
why.
something to play with.
Wow.
I think he also covered one of them, because he had like an ex girlfriend wife's portrait, and he just had to.
Oh, really?
cover it. Yeah, I think I've just seen something recently about that.
That's funny.
That's incredible.
Yeah. I remember reading about that, and he was like, Mike DeVries was saying that he wasn't happy with that tattoo at all. Sylvester Stallone was like micromanaging everything, and it was just like the worst person to actually.
But how can you micromanage like
I don't know.
a realism, or like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
When you're sly, you think you know it all.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe. Yeah. I don't know.
And then even Nico's been doing portraits for so long too. Nico Hurtado.
Yeah.
I'm sure they all look pretty good still.
I feel like, well, it's funny you mentioned that because, you know, if I really think about Nico's work, shout out Nico, been seeing your pictures ever since I started like tattooing in the magazines too. Much respect. I feel like he's one of the exceptions because even though he does a lot of color realism, I see a lot of contrast in his work.
Yeah.
I see a lot of contrast, a lot of deep tones.
Believe it or not, he uses a liner.
And he uses a liner a lot. Yeah. So, you know, application, knowledge, technique all play a part. Also, saturation.
Yes, because
Saturation.
I think he does he puts like 2 or 3 sessions into one portrait.
So he's not only is he like layering as he works, but he's letting things heal and then coming back into them.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, with a lot of my black and gray work, even with black and gray, if I have a chance to work on another client again and they allow me to do a second pass, I'm able to just bring that piece to the next level.
Yeah.
Because when blacks heal, they're not always going to be fully black that first session unless you're just doing like, let's say, even with a blackout sleeve, like things can only get blacker with another pass and another layer of pigments on top of that previous
Sometimes
layer.
all you need to do is just give it another, just where the blacks are, just reinforce
And
it and
extra.
That's it. Yeah,
Mhm.
You don't even have
Bring your
to.
mic a little bit closer to you.
Yeah.
Or just if you're going to lean, just bring your mic closer to you.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I'm sorry.
Perfect.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. What were you saying?
Yeah. Yeah, just going back in there with that little extra bump.
Yeah, just you don't even have to touch the mid tones or gray, just the blacks and maybe like just highlights again, just a little bit.
Yeah.
That's it. You know.
Yep.
And that makes the whole difference. you
Oh,
know.
absolutely.
Yeah.
It really does.
Man, I'm always super impressed when people can get solid black on the first shot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Like even when I think I nailed it and I see it healed, it's almost never solid black. There's always some spots that need to go back over.
I'm gonna go on a whim and say that most people, even the most skilled tattooers, don't get it solid black on the first whim. It's just we're all starting just to see. Remember the CPL filters, you know, like everyone is filtering their work and removing contrast. So blacks look blacker, you know, obviously to the benefit of taking the nice photo, because we're always going to want to take a photo and interpret and show the viewers what ultimately our eyes are seeing, you know, by removing glare. But, you know, then we start going into that realm of, yes, it does bump up blacks a little bit blacker and richer. So,
Yeah.
you know, it does give like a tiny little false sense of reality. But I mean, I've seen some like really well done black,
Yeah.
you know, and it still has like a tone to it where it's not pitch black, guys. It's skin at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like it's, you know, it's
Yeah.
You're going to have that filter over it no matter what.
exactly. So, you know,
Skin filter.
but there are some guys out there that I've seen like, whoa, who did that?
Yeah.
Like blackout sleeve. It's incredibly black. So, you know,
I mean, even when Tabby rolls through the blackout sleeve that John did,
yeah,
that thing is solid.
that thing is solid. Super black.
And there's like, I don't even know, because I'm watching these guys, because we have a few artists, and there's like different schools of how to do it. Someone uses like huge
Huge
needles,
yeah,
mag.
that I don't
Yeah.
understand either. Like how you going over an elbow with a 49?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I don't know.
understand
that.
And also like super quickly.
yeah.
Yes.
And it stays in. I don't understand how they do it.
Yeah.
But I met one guy once in Austin. I don't remember his name. He was doing his own style, like almost like a manga, but he used lots of black, and his black was super, like almost like, you know, burning my eyes black.
Wow.
And I asked him how you do that, and he said he's using like 13 mags and super slow, like slows down the machine, like almost like barely going, and just really slowly. It takes forever, but it's not hurting the skin. But puts it in like you can go over and over and over again, and
Until it's like rich black. Right?
yeah.
Steadfast Tattoo Supply, owned and operated by professional working tattoo artist Frankie Porcelli, demanding top-performing materials, from the highest quality pigments and medical supplies, to tailor-made needles and cartridges with true line weights. Steadfast also specializes in custom machines built from scratch in-house and offers professional or group machine building seminars. Steadfast does everything to keep you and your clients covered. Steadfast, supplies that work as hard as you do.
I still haven't tried it, but
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen some guys that they don't even like do any circular motions. They don't scrub. They just do like very slowly. Those kind of like make lines with their mags and just kind of go
yeah.
straight, and then kind of go to the next line like a lawnmower patch. You just go over to the next, like just kind of overlapping a little bit, one straight line, and it's black.
That's crazy. And I don't see how that's possible, because even with mags, you know how you have the layering where it's almost like a comb on top of another comb, and you try to like, you know, the next layer below it is what's filling the void of the in-between spaces of the top layer.
Yeah.
And even that has
There's
spacing.
space between.
I don't understand it.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, if you're going to push the mag super straight, like straight forward, then yeah, you're going to have those gaps. But if you kind of angle it just a little bit, you're going to close those gaps.
Of course.
So,
Yeah.
so they're getting away with that.
Of course. Yeah, where you just kind of give it that tilt and you kind of close those gaps. Yeah, but I've seen the videos. They're not doing that. They're just like, you could see almost like it's flat.
Just go
They're not angling it.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
how
it's
that happens.
it's nuts. But you know,
So I was at
magic.
the convention with you, Hudson Valley Convention,
Mm-hmm.
and shout out to Nick Kaiser, Dead Meat. Me and him
Dead
did a
Meat.
collab on Sunday.
Great artist.
So we were doing two dinosaurs. Nick's part was to do a raptor, and then my part was to do a T-Rex on top, like above his. And it was on the back of a guy's leg. Nick's part started in the knee ditch. And I'm watching him line this out, and he gave no mercy at all. He was just like, just in there. And I know for me personally, I always feel a little bit bad, and I'll try to ease up in spots that I know are a little bit more painful. And I'm watching him tattoo, and he just did not give a fuck. He was just lining it. Those lines were in solid, and then he was packing his black solid, not even like backing up a little bit, even in those, and not blowing anything out either. And I'm watching him do this. I'm like, okay, I'll do that too. So he had his setup. He had his machines. We were both using the same black. We were both using the same liners, like the cartridges. But he had his machine and I had mine. He was using a Bishop wand and I was using a critical torque. So now it's my turn to start lining my half. And my lines weren't going in as dark and as crispy as his were, because I know that I kind of tend to back out a little bit. So I'm like, all right, let me do what he was doing. Let me actually just gung-ho it. And it still wasn't going in as nice as his lines were. So I was like, all right, let me just pick up his machine. I'm going to put the cartridge in his machine. I didn't touch any of his settings. The battery, it's his battery, his settings.
Yeah.
You know, everything's the same. Now it's just my hand compared to his. Still could not.
Same thing.
Could not pull the same kind of lines that he was pulling. So it doesn't matter. I think that, you could have the greatest equipment. You could have it set to the right way.
It's the user.
It's 100% the user.
It's the user.
I completely agree with that.
Yeah, it's the user, which is why sometimes I really don't believe in like when people have asked me like, oh, like, how do you get your stuff like this? Or how do you do that? Or how do you do this lining? I'm like, this is the way that I do it, but it might not work for you at all.
Yeah.
Because I've tried to reproduce techniques that, other people I admire, when I just see them like do something and then they wipe and I'm like, whoa. And then I try to do that and I can reproduce the effect, but not the way they did it. And I'm always blown away because, we always think we find like a more effective way of doing something in others that we're like, oh, I want to adopt that. And then sometimes it just doesn't work out that way, guys. It really doesn't.
Did you ever
It's
watch
crazy.
any of
It's crazy,
the Joshua Carlton DVDs that he put out years and years ago?
Oh, I remember
Oh, yeah.
those.
R.I.P.
R.I.P.
He had one. I forgot what the tattoo was that he was doing, but he was like, "This is how I color in a black and gray portrait with like a 25 mag."
Was it like a woman's face, a woman's portrait with like red lips or something like that?
I don't remember.
Okay. But it was
All I remember about it is he was explaining. He does like similar to how John now does his cross hatching with his gray shading. He does that, but with black. So he won't kind of do any circles. He'll go straight in one direction and then another direction right over that. And then maybe possibly a third time go over that. So he's going in 3 different directions, but straight each time.
so it is
to
like
fill in.
it's like cross hatching.
cross-hatching,
It's
yeah.
cross hatching. Yeah.
But he was rough with it. And he would even say it in the videos, like, it's okay, you're not going to overwork the skin if you're going in different directions. I was like, all right, cool. If this is, what you think.
Yeah.
Now I would try that, and again, I wouldn't get the same results.
Yeah.
And I was so worried about chewing up the skin, just like going over the spot so many times. It works for him, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to work for everybody.
Yeah, it's the same thing for me with lining. No matter what, like I'm watching so many guys doing linings. I can't do it to save my life. I don't know what it is. It's like, when you start pulling a line and you start thinking about it, and it's like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
I just can't do it. So I'd rather not.
Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned that about lining because so I take a lot of pride in my lining because I've always since I picked up a tattoo machine, I've admired when people did these just like amazing one pass lines. So it became like one of my missions to be like, I want to do one pass lines like that too, solid and just like not having to go. Doesn't matter if it's a tight 3 to a bold 14.
Uh-huh.
And I remember this one advice where I believe it was back in the days. There used to be a forum with who was the guy that had the forum?
Nick Baxter,
It wasn't Nick Baxter.
Jeff Ensminger.
Jeff Ensmingers, where people would like go on the forums and ask like a bunch of questions, and everybody was always trying to like dig for information if you weren't getting it at your apprenticeship or your tattoo master or whatever. And I remember reading this one thing that Dave Ensminger said, because somebody was like,
Jeff.
Sorry, Jeff. And I remember somebody asked like, hey Jeff, how do you get your lines so good? Like how do you line so consistently, and not have to like just constantly lift off and like try to continue that line, And he was like, when I line, I see ahead of the line of where I'm lining it. So I'm not currently with my hand as I'm lining it. I'm trying to predict like the path in front of where I'm lining. And that's what gets him to like his hand follows the technique.
So it's like
follows.
driving a car.
Like driving a car.
I never thought about that.
Yeah. And as soon as that, I don't know if it clicked for everybody, but it clicked for me.
Uh-huh.
And from that point forward, that's exactly how I mentally thought about lining. And it really worked out for me.
Probably that would have helped me like psychologically, in the beginning, because I always struggled with that
Right.
part.
And that it did.
Oh.
In the beginning.
I do that when I'm drawing too.
Yeah.
Yeah, if like let's say I'm drawing a rose petal, I'll want to draw the line pretty quick so I get some like nice motion to it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel too stiff. And I'll do the same thing. Like I'll look at where my hand is at first. I'll look at where I want it to go, and then I'll like plan out that trajectory. But I'm more looking at where am I going to stop this line as opposed to let me watch the line as it's going. And it really helps. You really like.
True. Yes. It really does.
Like you're mentally making a roadmap for yourself. Yeah. But that's cool. I never really thought about it as far as tattooing because it's a much slower process.
Yeah. I've also noticed that, like, and touching back on the subject of like us trying techniques and then being like, wow, my hand just doesn't do it like theirs. And I'm doing exactly the same thing using the same equipment. A lot of it is mental. So what do I mean by that? It's almost like for instance, when I'm pulling a line, if I'm thinking that I want it to be solid and a one pass line, like I'm concentrating on just the thought. It's almost like, a lot of people don't really like think that like manifesting it would have some sort of like, but I kind of do.
Dude, if there are any skateboarders listening to right now, I guarantee they're going to know what you're talking about, because that's what a lot of people do. That's what I did when I was skating.
I'm making sense though, right?
No, 100%. Like
Yeah.
if you're struggling with a trick and you're like, oh man, I can't do this. If you just picture picture yourself, make a little movie in your
Pulling
head.
off
That trick.
Yep.
Guaranteed you're going to get it.
Yeah. It's almost like your mind's already there and it made the decision, we're doing this. And then it follows, like your body follows. You might, until it might take a little while to catch up, but it will catch up. So yeah, like if the intent is there, it will happen.
Or maybe just don't think about it too much, because I think that
might work.
what like gives me like the sort of block, like imagine if you like walking and you start thinking about like what is the mechanism of walking? How is it even work? How am I even doing this? And you just do
How
it.
you doing
Yeah,
this?
yeah. It's just automatic now, like breathing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, oh, I got to think about breathing. Like, wait, Yeah.
I think I'm in that like stage in my career that I don't have to think about how am I going to do the shading, because it comes so naturally.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's good because the confidence is there. So and it's also muscle memory. So yeah. It's just like a lot of things that I do now in tattooing, where if my beginning tattooing me, like baby tattooer me, were to see some of the things that I'm doing now, I would think that's impossible. I'm never going to get to his level, or I'm never going to feel comfortable pulling off those techniques, or like techniques that I first thought I would have to put so much effort into pulling off a certain technique to pull off a certain look in a tattoo.
Yeah.
Now it's just like, you don't think about it. It's just in your repertoire of
that's
executions.
Same here.
Mhm.
And also, like, what is that thing that he's holding in his hand?
Right.
Like, I never, everything was completely different when we started.
It was.
So you said
It
you started in
definitely was.
98,
Yeah.
right? So you were obviously using coils at the time. Are you still using coils?
No.
No.
I couldn't wait to find something else. I
Yeah.
hated it. I hated every second of
Really?
it. Yeah. I never really had like a really good quality. Maybe towards the end, I had a few Aaron Canes. They were good. But I always had like a lower quality stuff.
Okay.
And I always the settings are just going away, and like you
Constantly
have
have to adjust.
Yeah.
yeah.
You were looking for something more efficient to translate your body of work onto like skin.
You're looking
Yeah.
for low maintenance. That's what you want.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like
Coming from a coil guy, I understand that. I really do. Like I understand that.
Yeah, and since I'm using the cartridges and like the Cheyenne and all that stuff, since it came in, like so much headache went away, because it's just so simple now. And
Yeah.
I'm kind of probably the baby tattooer me is jealous of me right now because I have it so easy.
Yeah.
My name is Jamie Snedeker, and I'm the owner of Southernmost Tattoo. Some of the issues that I ran into before using Tattoo Pro were not having all of my systems in one place. I knew I needed something different than what I was using, so I started searching for tattoo-specific software and ran into Tattoo Pro. Set up a consult, and within the day, they contacted me, and within a week I was set up. scheduling, release forms, payroll, artist schedule, client information, and now it's all in one place.
Since we started using Tattoo Pro, our workflow has improved dramatically. No more scheduling mishaps, and our clients love the easy online booking. It's literally helped us grow the business.
With Tattoo Pro, we've doubled our revenue in the last year, and we've increased our staff by 4 artists. If you're considering using Tattoo Pro, it's a no-brainer. It'll give you more time to do the things that you love, such as tattooing and running your business. Call and set up a demo today. You won't regret it.
But back then, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, back in those days in Hungary, there were no tattoo industry. There were no like tattoo suppliers, nothing. So we had to figure out everything. I'm saying because I had no like any sort of like mentorship or anyone behind me.
Yeah.
Who taught me how to like solder needles. I had to figure that out myself. Yeah.
So did you had a traditional apprenticeship or no?
No.
No.
That's why when someone asks me how long I'm tattooing for, it's like, probably the first 5 years I can just deny. I don't even count that in.
Right. You're like so much trial and error.
Yeah, it's all like, because basically probably I wouldn't be a tattoo artist because I was always drawing. I always been close to art. And my friends knew that, and they just kind of pushed me into like start tattooing. And obviously the beginning I just tattooed my friends, so they knew that I have no clue about what I'm doing. They wanted it, so I was okay with it, But it was way later when I started taking it like seriously.
So you started tattooing in Hungary.
Yeah.
How long was it that you came here after you started tattooing?
Oh, I moved to England in 2009. I was tattooing there for almost 15 years, and I moved here for 2022 after the COVID.
Oh, so recent.
Yeah, I'm a newcomer still. And I think I'm gonna stay like that forever, because New York doesn't really seem like taking in people that easily.
I don't know. I would disagree with that. I think we're pretty accepting.
Oh, not people. It's more like
Like any newcomers now, right? Like once you're in now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's like
It's gonna get harder
to set foot in, and like, New York is a pretty hardcore city to get by, especially like if you the first couple of years, I think it's for everyone. It's difficult.
Yes.
Because back in England, I had like a really good practice. I got like everything on a silver platter, but it just wasn't enough. I wanted to move to the United States of America.
Yeah.
I feel like you're right on that. I mean, even coming from like an American from a different state and coming into New York, and me being here the last 18 years, I would agree like that New York, it's not an easy city, and you kind of have to earn your place here.
Yes. And that's why
and it makes it rewarding in a sense. It really does.
I love this city. I mean, I'm in love with this city. Don't get me wrong. It's like, if I go away for a week, I just want to come back.
Yeah, you miss it.
I don't know. I compare it to like an abusive girlfriend, or something.
Yeah, toxic relationship.
Sex is good, but
It's a little dirty.
Yeah.
It costs a lot of
too
money.
many bruises on you and like cuts.
She cusses a lot.
Yeah.
Might spit a little bit, but yeah.
Yeah.
But it's great.
Yeah, they say like if you can make it in New York, you make it anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
I think that holds true.
I would put a New Yorker in the middle of Iowa. Let's see what's going on.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens.
I mean, but I wouldn't put a New Yorker like in the middle of like Afghanistan.
Without a cell phone, right?
Yeah. But
So you came here in 2022. You're working at Hustle Butter now, but where were you before Hustle Butter?
I was with them.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Didn't he just open up?
We had a studio in Midtown, on the 36th.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That was
Oh
like
yeah, that's right.
that was still like a private studio,
Okay.
but it was like in Midtown, and like we are here in the Soho like over a year now. Yeah, that's a
It's
beautiful.
a really cool
place.
shop.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah.
It's a really nice shop.
Love it. That's like probably the highlight of my career, to work in a place like that.
Cool.
So that spot is similar to the shop that we used to be at on Bowery, where it was a second story. So, I mean, everyone at that shop is probably along the same caliber of you, where you probably are doing your own clientele.
Yeah.
Right? Are there any walk-ins at all in that shop?
Sometimes there is. People find us online, and they just come in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's obviously it's not like here, for example. You know, it's pretty rare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I we can't even rely on that at all.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, so we literally do everything. We're gonna help you 3 to 5x your income simply by maximizing your output. At the Force of Focus, we have 4 different members in leadership who have all dedicated more than half their lives to this industry, both in and out of the tattoo career, to give you every resource you could ever imagine. Everything from personal development to branding and marketing, content, business innovation, business infrastructure, and financial literacy and investments that are truly going to work for you. Now, if this is something you're interested in, or if you just wanna know more about it, click the link below or shoot us a DM at the Force of Focus on Instagram, and let's get a conversation rolling.
Most people come in for piercings because people still think that somehow the two things is like
Related.
related.
Yeah.
Google, when you have a business and it's a tattoo business, Google automatically puts
Yes.
piercing.
Yeah.
tattoos
Tattoo and piercing.
Yeah, we are just going through that because we had to obviously change address and everything on the website, and there is this problem. We are trying to remove the piercing part, but apparently it's not going to happen.
Yeah. You're gonna have to get a piercer then.
Yeah,
We have a piercer here. She's here 3 days a week, 4 days a week,
Yep.
and those days that she's here, she kills it.
She's making a killing
yeah.
because
then
she's supplementing. She's taking care of all those piercing questions, and they come by a lot.
There's definitely a lot more walk-ins for piercings than tattoos.
Yeah.
I can imagine that. Maybe I should start doing piercings. So
Hey,
Piercing skeeves me out so bad.
it's just different. It's different to me. It's a different type of needle. It's a different type of puncturing.
And I think it's, it might seem easy, but I think it's science.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah, exactly.
I don't think
Science and anatomy.
yeah. I dated a girl. She was she started piercing when we dated, and she grew in the industry so high that like now she's like really sought after. And I saw her like she had to put so much energy and like to learn everything about it and become good at it, because that's just like tattoos. You have to stand out with something,
Yeah,
So yeah, I don't look down on piercers at all.
me neither.
The guy that I technically had 2 separate apprenticeships, and the first one that I did, the guy had a fish tank in his shop, and one of the fish, he pierced his lip and put like a hoop with a ball on it, and I was yeah, and it was cool. Like
What?
people came in and they saw the fish with the piercing in his lip and like, whoa, man, look at that. But I'm thinking about
Awesome.
what the reaction would be now in today.
Oh, how could you hurt that
Yeah.
fish? Oh, for your fun and pleasure. Like, oh, forget about it. Man. Everybody's too
so
sensitive
cool.
now.
And he was like, "Come on, man, you're gonna pierce the fish's lip if you go fishing, right?"
I pierce.
It's
I
okay.
I pierce fish frequently when I go fishing.
But yeah, that was the highlight of that shop.
Oh,
I was like,
man.
"Whoa, look at that fish with the big hoop in his lip!"
You know what pescatarians say? The fishes don't feel anything.
Right?
Yeah.
Actually, yeah. We would even double down and say that they really don't have many, if any, nerves around the lips. So when they get hooked, they barely feel it. But people still see, the whole puncturing and piercing and think it's you're hurting the fish.
Yeah.
You're hurting it. It's like, okay. I mean, I'm still gonna fish.
You fart?
Did I fart? No.
No. Okay.
I usually announce my arrival and departure.
You guys edit this? You guys cut stuff?
Oh no, we're
out?
letting it fly. This happens. This happens. Anything goes. It's called the honest tattooer, not the hidden tattooer.
Let's talk about what's happening on Instagram today.
Oh man.
Oh yeah, the post.
Yeah, everybody's too sensitive. It's
All right.
the internet.
So 2 or 3 days ago, I made a post of the Stripes gum logo,
Right.
and the joke was, "This is how long your micro tattoo will last," and it got a lot of positive love. Right? People were like, "Oh, this is so funny, it's so great." A lot of reshares. So I took that same concept, did a picture of
An edited
female with very, very long boobs. And the title was, "This is how long
the hangers.
your traditional tattoo will last." And it's nothing but hate.
Oh man, people did not
How could
like
you
that.
body
No, I'm not gonna say.
shame?
I'm not gonna say people. I'm gonna say, and look at the camera. The usual suspects did not find it funny.
Those people we usually call the internet.
Yeah,
'Cause
they are
that's what-
the internet.
Yeah.
The minority in the scope of the entirety of the population, but the loud majority. I thought it was hilarious.
I thought it was hilarious.
I think
too.
it was funny,
Yeah.
and also that lady on the picture was really pretty.
Yeah, and she
She's
was still pretty. She was still hot.
Yeah,
So there
I
was
think
no
it
shaming involved. It's
No
just,
shaming.
yeah.
It's
It's just,
She's
hey,
hot.
look, guys, it was the assets were visibly long, and that was in relation to how long traditional tattoos last, which is a long time.
It's a long
It's
time.
a long time, and might still be a good time. But hey, and then we posted. So that was a female's body, and we got the whole like, "Oh, you're body shaming, body shaming." So we posted a guy with really, really long balls,
Mr. Johnny Knoxville.
Mr. Johnny Knoxville, in
Yeah.
that funny movie of what was the Grandpa movie?
Yeah, but
Was it Bad Grandpa? No, it's not Bad Grandpa. What was that movie with?
bad grandpa, no?
Maybe.
Damn.
No,
Are we botching this right now?
I think we're botching this right now because Bad Grandpa was with
Billy Bob Thornton?
yes,
No, that's bad.
That was Bad Santa.
Bad Santa.
Bad grandpa.
All right, we're messing this up. But anyway, the point still stands. And that post got us crickets. Nobody wanted
Yeah.
to complain. So it's okay to body shame a man.
I mean, let's just do the shame because it
Yeah.
wasn't shame.
Shame.
Yeah, there was no shame in that at all.
Yeah.
No. And, on both accounts, there was nothing wrong with either post. But, it's the internet and everyone is trying to find something to hate on.
You can only punch up,
Yeah.
There's no punching down
You
anymore.
can only punch up, exactly. But yeah, hey, so shout out internet. Just chill out. Chill out.
Yeah, I mean, I said it before. I look at the whole thing as like not just how are people reacting to the comments. Is this a good metric of how the post is doing?
Yeah.
I also look at how much is it getting reshared and how much are people sharing it to their stories, because
Right.
the people who are commenting are the ones who are like, "Oh, this is so bad. You shouldn't do this. You guys are terrible. Oh, I'm unfollowing you." Right?
Yeah.
But
Bye.
the people who are putting it in their stories, they're sharing that because they agree and they think it's funny and they want their friends to see.
Yeah,
it.
correct.
It's a funny post.
Yeah.
And there's just as many of those as there are people complaining in the comment section.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it looks bad if you're just reading the comments, and most people, I think actually, yeah, I'm the only
Yeah.
one that I can. I'm
and
the
you're
only
seeing
one.
the insights.
I'm the
You're-
only one that can see the insights.
Yeah, you're really seeing how the post is really doing, either positive or negative.
So from the outside, it looks like
It looks bad.
It looks bad, but
it's doing really good.
Yeah, it's doing
So thank you guys for
Yeah, thank
supporting
you.
and for liking and for getting the joke.
There's so many things.
How could you joke about that?
Yeah, there's so many things I see on the internet and I just don't like. But I'm not gonna just stop and like tell everyone that I don't like it.
Yeah.
Why would I do that? I just scroll through it. That's it. some people needs to be heard, I guess.
It's attention.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's attention and social justice. I mean, most of those people, and I'm looking straight at you guys, most of you people that are the loudest on the internet would never take the shirt off your own backs to help somebody in need. So you go on the internet parading yourselves to be high and mighty, like if you're a hero or somebody that would have the C word, the courage to actually move a finger for somebody else. You guys are fake.
I think it's boredom. I think they got no purpose.
Yeah, but they're also fake.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, boredom. Yeah. Sorry guys, but you guys are spineless.
I mean, whatever. It was funny.
No, not whatever.
We got a kick
They're
out of it.
spineless. Yeah. But yeah, it was. We got a kick out of it, and
And you know what?
we don't regret it.
No, I
don't regret it.
I almost didn't post it. And I went around the room today and I asked everybody, what do you think? Should I post this? And everybody agreed. Yeah,
we all
definitely.
said, yeah, absolutely post that. That's hilarious. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Men and women.
what's the worst thing can happen? Like, you lose those people who didn't like it, which was like 5,
Yeah.
maybe.
It's all right.
Yeah, it's fine.
We could
Yeah.
do with 5 less followers.
It's fine, you guys. I know you guys are still going to watch our videos. I
Just-
know you guys
just
are
to
still gonna
hate on
share.
it.
Yeah, just to hate on it. Yeah, I know you guys are still going to tune in. Be like, oh,
Can't-
those guys.
Can't please everybody.
No, you cannot.
So actually, in response to another post that I put out about a week or two ago that got a lot of negative attention in a similar way, following that, I put a story up with a poll, and I asked, what are your thoughts about the podcast? And then it was like, do you agree with everything? Do you like some things but disagree with some things? Do you hate us, right? And majority of the people fell in the upper category where they either love everything that we do or they like most of everything, but there's a few things here and there that they disagree with, which I would
That's
understand.
realistic.
Yeah, realistic. I would think that to have everybody love everything that we do, it's not going to happen.
No, you
There's
can't
al-
please everybody.
Right. So there's always going to be something that we say or that we post that there's going to be people who don't agree with.
Yeah.
And that was the vast majority. And then there was one option that I had was, you guys are jokes and should stop doing this because you're fools or whatever. And there was like 12 people out of the 1,500 that responded. 12 people were like, no, you guys need to stop because you're absolutely wrong in everything that you say.
Right. Well, cool. Yeah.
And,
You guys don't count.
and they feel the most important in the world, you know?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
that's how they feel,
Like
probably.
my opinion holds weight of 1,000 people. You know.
Yeah.
So actually, let me ask you guys, because the post that I'm referring to is the one, I don't know if you saw it, but Gabe kind of got on my case about this one, was where I was comparing.
Oh yeah, I was biased.
I was comparing tattooers to other industry craftsmen, like chefs, like musicians. And I was saying that us as tattooers, as pretty much a whole, we're more, we want tattoo products and tattoo services done by tattoo artists.
Oh, I've seen it. Yeah, I remember that.
And whereas other industries, it's not really so much the case.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the comparisons I made was like, you don't see chefs out in the back in the forge getting all sweaty, making their own knives to sell to other chefs. Like, that's not a thing. And a lot of people were really, really upset in the comment section about that.
Really?
And
Yeah.
and whatever, if you want to support tattooer owned products and companies, I think that's great. I think you should.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that you shouldn't, and I'm not saying that you should go the other route either. But one of the things that I felt about it was that whether the product that you are using is made by a tattooer or not, a non-tattooer, it should be more about not the product that you're buying from another company, but the product that you're giving to your customer. That side of it should be the more important side of it. So the tool that you're using, whatever, if it works for you and you can deliver a good tattoo and your client is happy with it, that should be more important than where you sourced that tool from.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah. You see,
Now you agree with me?
I
Mark?
guess no, still no.
What's your argument with that?
Well, it's not really an argument. It's more like my belief in it, or as far as like my romanticism with the craft.
Mm-hmm.
And it's more like, you know, if I was like, let's say, and I'm sure I'm going to butcher this, but if I was like, let's say, a samurai, right? And obviously samurais get their blades made by a blacksmith.
Hattori Hanzo.
Yeah. Ooh, great reference. And I would like to believe that my blacksmith who creates these fine swords also practices, you know, the way of the Bushido, or like would know how to use his own tool and cut. He may not be a master at that because he focused his art into the shaping of the blade, but he has some relation to the craft in, you know, what he's providing or who he's providing those swords to. So I kind of have that romanticism of like, and I'll be honest with you, there's a lot of machine builders out there. No offense, machine builders. It's facts. You guys may not be the best tattooers, but a lot of you still make tattoos and you create fine tools. And I love that. I love that fact of it. So I am kind of against the outsourcing of that with like major companies that are just like, they have nothing to do with tattooing. They're just making money. But in order to make money, you have to make a good tool. So
Right.
they are putting the technology, the research, everything in there. So I will never take away from that. And effectively making tools that tattoo artists can translate their art on people effectively and to the best of their abilities, which is great, But, you know, like I said, I am biased because I am kind of like a nerd about it when it's just like, oh, I love that everything is like made by a tattooer for a tattooer, you know? And that's the same thing you made the argument. A lot of people were making the argument of like let's say a chef. I feel like a chef is kind of different because anybody can make a fine blade. You know what I mean? You don't necessarily. No, dude.
No.
Yes, hear me out. You don't have to be a chef to make a chef's knife. You just have to be good at blacksmith and metallurgy. The same thing goes with like.
How do you know what the chef needs for that specific work he wants to do? Because the blacksmith needs to.
In any industry, whatever, like let's say like a
Good point. Yeah.
you're going to get the feedback from the end user,
Right.
and
You'll be able to modify your output, your technique based on the feedback
Right.
from like the chef, you know? So for example, and not to cut anybody off, but I did want to lead into, like there was a comment, like let's say that people were comparing like the craft to like, let's say a musician, right? Lots of rock stars and like musicians have their instruments made. Like, let's say somebody that makes like amazing guitars, right? Sure, there's Chinese companies out there just cranking out guitars because they have the blueprint for it. But I would like to think that some of the top end rock stars get their guitarists made by people that not only love to build the highest tier of finely made guitars, but those people know how to play them, tune them, everything.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, like there's so much difference even between like, yeah, you're right. Like a Gibson Les Paul you can buy in Guitar Center,
Right.
The Gibson Les Paul that tailor made for an artist
One-offs.
is still a Gibson Les Paul, but it's like a one-off.
Yeah.
And made by specific requirements for like a specific artist.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with either or. You know, I just decide to stay on one camp because I kind of like romanticize it a bit. Like I have a passion with the tools and who's making my tools.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. I have the ability to see both sides of it.
All right.
And to me, what's more important is how well does it provide me the ability to go do a good tattoo.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, if let's say you're at a convention, you ran out of needles,
Right.
right? There's two suppliers there. One is a tattooer-owned supply company, and one is a non-tattooer owned supply company. The tattooer-owned supply company is notorious for having really inconsistent products, doesn't give you good line work, but the non-tattooer-owned company, their stuff is solid.
Yeah.
Who would you go with? Who would you buy a needle from?
I'm using those janky needles from the tattooer made.
But why?
No, I'm joking. I'm going to use the best tool that I can get my hands on.
That's my point. That's exactly my point.
Yeah, I think
I'm not an idiot too, like if I got to pull off a good tattoo, that's going to be my answer.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost like if you would have said like, I was going to joke. I thought you were going to be like, all right, well, you ran out of needles and the only supplier there is like a China manufactured, like crank them out, like, like child labor, like needle making company. I'd be like, I guess I'm not tattooing. But no, I'm definitely going to buy the needles that I have to do. If they're great and they do the job, I mean, hey. Yeah. No, I'm,
Yeah, I think to like efficiently like develop like certain instruments or like equipment, it needs like way more than probably like an artist could like.
You need like a company with a factory and employees that know what they're doing with their equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah, because obviously like it can be started by someone, but if you want to supply like a whole variety of artists, even like different countries, probably you have to outsource the rest of it,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not a businessman, no idea.
So do you think that the, I'm going to air quote this, the oversaturation of the industry is a result from non-tattooer companies coming in and making an excess of equipment and products that's easily accessible? Or do you think it's vice versa? Do you think that there's so many people in this industry that the tattooer-owned companies can't keep up, and the non-tattooers saw this opening and this void that they were like, oh man, I could fill this void, and I'm going to step in and supply to support all the people that are looking for supplies, that there's too much demand for what the non-tat or the tattooers can actually provide?
I don't really know, because it didn't just start yesterday. So when Cheyenne started doing the cartridge system, everybody started copying that.
Yeah.
So, so I'm not sure if the two has anything to do with each other, but probably there's if I remember someone like told me like a few years ago, like, listen, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna buy the cartridges from China and I'm gonna put my own logo in it, and this is gonna be my brand. It's gonna be exactly the same as any other.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but it's gonna be my brand. I was like, okay, well,
it's just the only thing that's different is the branding. So many of them and I've talked to some different brands of
Shall we name names?
No, we're not gonna name names. We're not gonna
bleep it out.
Do that. I want to, but we're not gonna do that. Where one of them literally admitted, and he'd be like, "Oh, such company, and such company, and my company. Yeah, we all get our needles at the same factory in China.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The same one building." And I was like,
exactly. Like we talked about guitars. It's the same thing. Like if you want to build quality guitars and you want to build it here in the United States, it's gonna cost like at least $6, $7, $8 each. But if you want to build quality guitars, you want to take the production to Korea or one of those countries, and it's gonna bring the cost down. But they are going to facilitate other brands as well. So you can see like a factory where they for example making guitars for ESP. They're making guitars for, I don't know, Fender, whatever. Yeah. And in the same building. So I can see that happening easily.
I guess to go back to that question that you asked as well, most definitely the accessibility, because the influx of tattooers, I feel like, especially when like tattoo TV happened, you know, there was a huge influx of people wanting to use their art and to do tattoos.
Mm-hmm.
Even during those times, it was hard to get started because just like always, it's always been extremely hard to get an apprenticeship for most people. And it took a lot of like, just, what do I call it? Because a lot of people were like shooing people away, you know, the gatekeepers.
Oh yeah.
And they made it very difficult to get into the industry. And I kind of see like where they were coming from, because they were kind of like protecting something that they loved, even if what you saw it as something wrong, and be like, because everyone thinks they deserve something.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone thinks they deserve either free knowledge, free everything. No one wants to earn anything. And we just want things given to us. So it's always those people that are going to complain the hardest. But I will say this as well. I think there are so many tattooers now because of the accessibility of the tools.
Yeah.
Because of that, because of the exploitation of the industry, the mass production of these things, it just made it easy for anybody to order a kit and to start practicing on their own.
So speaking of kits,
But let me
go
finish
ahead,
what you're saying.
finish.
That,
Yeah.
and some of the greatest, most talented people in tattooing also came from that, you know, just not getting an apprenticeship. And they're highly respected, even amongst the passionate craft people. They're just like, well, fuck, you just throw your hands up and be like, yeah, he's amazing though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now, I do dislike are the people that got into the industry, and to what I like to think, that they're just using it as much as they can, or like a money grab. And they might be good, but are the people that, and I'm always going to stand by this, the people who do tattoos, I don't care how good you are and you don't have any tattoos.
Mm-hmm.
That shows me just how much you love tattooing. And to me, it's Zippo.
Yeah, it's just a job to them at that point.
It's just a job to you, you know, at that point, because
You know, at one point that bothered me too, but I mean,
it still bothers me.
yeah, I know.
Yeah, it still bothers me.
I learned very, very quick that I'm not really one to talk in that sense. Like for a tattooer, I really don't have many tattoos. I got my arms done. I got my ribs done.
You got your ribs done. You have a sense of, I'm talking about people.
No, I know what you're talking about. People have like almost nothing.
Yeah, like almost nothing to nothing.
Yeah.
You know?
But even still, I mean, I think even if I were like as heavily covered as you and John were, I don't know if I would change my mind about it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, I'm trying to rationalize why and give a good reason why in my head, but I think at this point, as much as I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for saying this, I think it is no longer just a lifestyle like it used to be, and it is just a job now.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's
just the reality of it.
Yeah, no, I mean, it can be your reality. It's not mine, which is exactly why I feel so protective about it, because I've earned my right to understand where others like think the way that I do. Like I understand where that passion is coming from. It's the same thing like how I feel about the people that go under to get a tattoo, because they're not going through this like lengthy process. The gripping of like the stress ball, the clenching of your teeth. When
I
just
really agree
powering
with that,
through like a tattoo, whether it's from a great artist or just a shitty tattoo that you're having a great experience, you know, there's a sense of reward. There's a sense of accomplishment. So when I put tattoos in people on people, there's also a sense of like compassion and understanding when I apply a tattoo, because I've been in that seat before. I've been where they are, and I've seen like the reward when the endorphins finally like go away, and you just went through this struggle to receive something permanent on your body that isn't easily achievable, but you did it. And then you got something like great on your body that you were just like, wow, I actually pulled through that, or I almost gave up. you know, or like, and there is a sense of accomplishment, and you gain a respect for it, doing them and receiving them.
Yeah, it's like slipping through your rite of passage,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Or you're just like, playing a video game and you pay to win.
Yeah.
And instead of earning the highest, like, and I'm a video game nerd. If you guys don't like,
So you remember cheat codes, I
right?
guess.
You remember cheat codes? And
Yeah.
you're like, instead of earning that cheat code at the end because you ran through the game, and you're like, okay, here's the shortcut code so that you can do the next level or the extra part of the game, and just getting the cheat code immediately to just start that, you know?
Yeah. But I think the whole world has changed, not just the tattoo industry. And I think they said this 10-second attention span. I think it goes for everything these days.
Yeah.
I
So
agree.
It's like
You're
people-
seeing that everywhere right now in the modern world.
people don't want to spend time with anything. They just want
They want the results
to,
quick.
You remember when you were always like booked up with work because people who tattooed, they went around and told everyone that, you know, look at my tattoo. This guy did it. Go
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Why is it not happening anymore?
So people don't go out anymore.
People don't go out anymore, and they just don't care about it anymore because tattoos used to be like something. I don't think they appreciate it as much as it was before.
Because reality, the real life, isn't as valid anymore as what you're seeing in that little screen in your palm.
Precisely. And you know, you can tell your clients, I tell them all the time, please wait for me. I'm gonna take pictures. I'm gonna sort them out and crop them, whatever, and I'm gonna send it to you. If you want to post it, please just tag me in it. It never happens.
No.
No.
Never.
No.
You know, because they leave the studio, they go home and they stop by, oh, sushi, let me take a picture of that. And they completely forgot about everything.
Yeah.
You know, that happened.
Yeah.
You know what's incredible though? I sell a lot of my prints on my website, and without even asking, almost everybody, when they receive their print at home, they share it on their stories. And they tag me in it.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa, that's great.
It's amazing.
That's nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
They're proud of it.
Yeah. I don't get that with my tattoos, but I get it with my prints.
That's interesting.
I mean, I shouldn't say I don't get it with my tattoos because some people do.
But you get it more with your
I
prints.
get it 100% more with my prints.
Wow.
Yeah. Almost every single time.
It's almost like it's more personal to them.
The print,
What can be more
No,
personal?
no.
the tattoo.
The
Oh,
tattoo.
So they
okay.
don't want to share
So
it.
they want to share it.
All right. I can
At
see
least
that.
that's the only thing that I'm thinking of, but I'm still trying to fathom the thought. That's just the first thing that comes to my mind because it's very interesting how your findings on that.
Yeah. Yeah, you would think like the tattoo would be much more special.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like everybody has tattoos, and like these days, everybody, a tattoo artist, you know, everybody knows everything about tattoos, just like Sylvester Stallone. So I think that's why it's not important anymore as much as it was back in the days.
Yeah.
I remember it was so cool seeing like an actual, and I remember like for so long, I've been in this industry maybe for 15 years, and I never ever seen a good tattoo on the street. Always just in the magazines
Yeah.
and in the studio where you work,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yep.
And now it just changed. Like every tattoo is nice now.
Yeah.
It's like I think it's kind of losing its prestige. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
I think
well,
so too. Yeah.
I think
like there's nothing that special about it anymore.
Yeah,
because
Everybody can do it.
15, 20 years ago, it was rare for a tattoo artist to be an artist. And they were more so probably doing flash, copying other, simple traditional tattoos. I don't
Yeah.
want to say simple in the way that it's,
No, I
you
wasn't.
know
a fan
what
of-
I mean, like-
yeah, of course.
but now you see
Simple
a lot-
design.
You see a lot more artistry. You see a lot more, especially realism that because there's so much more of it, it's not, shocking to see when you do see it.
Yeah.
When I graduated college, I graduated from an art school. It was around the same time that I got my apprenticeship, and I completed my apprenticeship. And it was around that time that the guy who was teaching me how to tattoo, he said it. He was like, I see this as the future, where tattooers, the future tattooers, are going to have some sort of like artistic background in order to be accepted to be an apprentice. And I don't know if that's necessarily true or not, but I do definitely see that there's a lot more artistic backgrounds in tattooers than there used to be.
I mean, I think it always helps, It's better than like someone comes into the industry just because it's cool, it's rock and roll, and it's, lots of money.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Though, there's a difference between the kid in high school that used to draw in his notebook and everybody was like, whoa, that's so cool, because they couldn't do anything close to what he was doing, but it still wasn't really that great. And then that guy went to start tattooing. He was doing tattoos because he liked to draw, but that's very different than the kid who went to art school and studied theory and studied, design and composition and all that. Like there's a very big difference. And
those guys definitely have a head start in like progressing in the industry for sure. Then like someone who just doesn't just get like an apprenticeship. Okay, now you have to draw like 25 roses today or whatever. I'm still seeing that happening today. Like like proper apprenticeships with no like background, no previous knowledge of anything.
Yeah.
They just learn everything from ground up.
Yeah.
that could be good and it could be bad.
Yeah, I feel like the good. I feel like the good about that can be where they almost like build up like a passion, to it, because it might be like harder for them, to gain certain skills. So it might be more rewarding as opposed to somebody who has an art background already and might already have an ego built up from others telling them like, oh, your stuff's so good, you should try tattooing. So there could be like a good and bad where, you could have the people that always answer with I know, the I know people. Like people that are always like, oh yeah, I know. You try to teach them something and they're like, they already know.
Yeah.
But they still keep committing the errors.
Yeah. Who was that?
I don't know. Take that conversation upstairs. Sorry, guys. You guys are talking a little too loud. Love you guys. And but you know what I'm trying to say? Where it's just like where someone who doesn't know much but is a clean slate is willing to learn, as opposed to somebody who already thinks they know and has like a certain amount of skill already to begin with. It'd be harder to teach.
But also some of those kids can become one of those big names now in the industry as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. As well.
Because sometimes I feel like if you have like a proper apprenticeship, not just in tattooing, like anything, you might get like a little bit like skewed towards whatever your mentor knows, and that's it, and maybe that's where you're gonna settle as well, instead of trying to like overgrow whatever your mentor did or know. Right. So, but this is just a feeling as well. Like I'm not sure if it's a case in any way, but maybe that's why I see the artist kids coming in as well, and just being amazing, whatever. I'm not talking about the egos, because probably there is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it works either way.
The same here. Like we are now in a time in tattooing where, like I said, like we're almost losing like that specialness of seeing an amazing tattoo, because there is just so much talent out there. I mean, these kids coming into this tattooing, like blowing, like blowing me away when I see some of the work, and then you see like the amount of years they've been in it, and you're like, that's it.
Yeah. And you know what I think there's two main reasons. One of them is the iPad. The other one is Cheyenne. Did you just fart?
Yeah. Yeah.
You did?
Huh?
He did.
What? The fart?
Yeah.
No, that's the chair. Look, I'll do it again.
All right.
Look, hold on.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think the modern technology made everything so much easier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like even like realistic tattooing, like started out with like printing out like papers that you found and like try to make a stencil out of it. Like, it's gonna work, okay. And I think Google Images made everything so much easier. You could find anything you want. Then Pinterest, whatever. I think it just skyrocketed from there.
Yeah, absolutely. Technology.
Yeah.
Pinterest
Technology.
is fucking up now, though. Everything that you look at on Pinterest is now AI generated.
Yeah.
Oh man.
It bothers the shit out of me. And I'm a fan of AI, and I'm a
But
proponent
not in
of it.
that sense.
In that sense, no, it bothers the fuck out of me. Because you never know. I was doing a study. I was trying to draw a whole bunch of different facial expressions, and I wanted to find like specifically like an anime character that had a different expression and a different angle, but the same character laid out a bunch of times. So I was looking to see if there were any artists that have done that I can just copy it. Because I'm not an anime artist at all. I don't know the first thing about it. That's why I wanted to do this specific study. And I found a couple of pictures that were exactly what I wanted. And I started drawing there. I think there was 24 characters, 24 faces on this one page. And I got through about 5 or 6 of them before I realized it was AI. And I was like, holy fuck. It took me that long to realize that there's something wrong with these faces because they were that good.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's my whole thing with AI. I mean, you can hate it, you can love it. My whole show was inspired by this whole AI and the technology and how we became so smart in the last few decades. Like humanity became so like educated, smart, and informed, and so dumb
At the
same time.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's all because
We're
of
like the smartest, stupidest generation ever.
Yeah. And AI is going to overtake everything, is going to take our jobs and everything. Meanwhile, you don't look up from your fucking phone. That's what 24/7.
You're literally feeding it.
Yeah.
Like you are the cause of your own destruction right there.
You made this thing. You have it coming.
Which is exactly why I am where I stand. Completely not swimming in that river. I'm completely not participating. But completely not out. And do I feel like I'm lagging behind? Sometimes. But I will say,
especially nowadays, everything is so fast.
yeah, but I will say I'm not upset or I don't feel like I'm missing something, because I feel like where my stance is, I feel justified. And I also feel like
You're authentic.
yeah, and I'm also authentic in like pretty much everything that I do to the best of my ability. I'm on the camp that technology can be an amazing tool to advance humankind, to make things easier for us, but not to make us lazier, to try to like push things to the next level. But we're in a point where we rely so much on technology that we want technology to do everything for us. Think, and this is the dangerous part, even think for us.
Exactly.
So my problem's coming down to education. So like I'm saying before with the study, like I've also looked at references on Pinterest just to kind of figure out anatomy. AI does not know anatomy. And it makes shit up, but it looks believable.
Right.
So if you already don't know what the anatomy is supposed to be,
then you're
learning from the AI generated images.
Correct.
You're just digging yourself into a very, very deep hole.
Very true.
That's correct. Yeah. I mean, my whole idea was about this, the AI thing because AI never. I was trying to find like a good like a hand
Oh yeah, forget
that
it.
AI
Oh, the worst at
generates,
hands.
and it never happens.
Yeah.
So I painted a hand with 6 fingers, just to make fun of AI, whatever.
Yeah.
And nobody realized it.
Oh
It
really?
has
Oh,
6.
wow.
Nobody.
Because we're almost conditioned to see the errors in the AI the
Yeah.
AI images that are fed to us. So we're seeing it as normal.
I thought you were going to go the other route and say that people were calling you out.
Yeah, and be like, oh, you used AI reference.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
They just didn't get the joke.
Yeah, they didn't get the joke. I mean, I guess this is where we're heading, you know.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. We have to be a little bit careful because we're gonna be left behind. Because it's growing so exponentially
It really
that
is.
like it's gonna be so like integral part of our life that if we don't catch up with it, it's gonna be just. I think we don't have to be afraid of AI. We just have to be able to utilize it in the best way we can to enhance our life.
There's
you
got to
know?
be limits to it, like it has to follow a certain like platform or regulation. I feel like it's just literally just
Oh
it's
yeah,
like a snowball, like it's doing its own thing now.
yeah. But I just look at it as like a second industrial revolution because back in those days, 1800s, maybe like 95% of the population of the earth were like involved with agriculture.
Mm-hmm.
What is it today? Maybe 5%.
Yeah, it's not
So-
many.
Yeah.
Yeah. So imagine like telling those people like, listen, you're gonna lose your livelihood now, but
Yeah.
you can be like a open a gym. You can be like a personal trainer. But what it is,
Yeah. they'd be
nobody
like,
invented
"What?"
it yet.
Yeah.
You can be like an astronaut. What it is. Now we have to invent. So I think that the world will change so much, even
Don't get
10
gave on
years
the
from now.
astronauts.
Hmm?
I said
Oh,
don't
yeah,
get gave
yeah.
on.
No, that's for another subject.
What happened?
No. That's for another time.
We
But
need another 3
yeah,
hours.
we need another 3 hours for the NASA and space and everything. But no, but exactly. Like, how could you tell these people that they wouldn't have to tend to the land anymore because there's going to be a super factory that
Yeah.
that breeds and kills cows for meat? You know what I mean? It's no longer this like community trade or bartering or selling of goods that you know what I mean,
and-
it's crazy, right? And be like, just like you said, you could be a personal trainer at a CrossFit gym now.
Yeah, like what the hell is that?
What?
Like, how am I gonna make money out of that?
Yeah.
Or how am I gonna feed the cattle?
Yep.
Shit, John just
John is in the building. I think he might creep in for the last 5 minutes of the cast.
We're an hour and a half in.
That's pretty solid.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
You know what, John?
You were missed.
I did the intro and I blew it. So I definitely.
That's hilarious. He's like, damn, it actually is hard. Though.
Yeah. He's like, John has it in the bag every time. Yeah.
It's like, damn.
In my mind, as I'm saying it, I'm thinking of Frank Reynolds. Botched it.
So I hope you guys had a wonderful conversation. I was tattooing. It just hurting somebody's ribs. It was
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
That looked awesome.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, it
Thanks,
was a cool
thanks.
outline.
Man, the first half of that tattoo blew by so fast.
Yep.
And I thought you were going to be done an hour and a half ago.
Yep.
Then he got to the hard part.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's the part, when you tattoo below the hip, right? That skin kind of stays.
Yeah.
As soon as you get to the ribs, right above that thing's like, it looks this big, and as soon as it stretches, it's
Yep.
like twice as big.
Everything slows down.
Everything slows down, and like the skin's like a little bit more, and then he's having a tougher time there, but
Yeah.
overall he sat really well.
And you had
Yeah.
more details there as well, right?
Oh yeah, it got
Yeah.
heavier.
At the top, then I had like all the back to scales.
Yeah.
But really, it just took it slowed down so much. Like after I moved to like the top part of it, because it just got way bigger.
See, it was funny. I just did a rib
I'm
piece
good,
the other
thank
day,
Mhm.
and I felt the opposite.
You feel like the lower part took longer?
Yeah. Like the space in between the hip and the ribs
Yeah.
where there's like no back no backing there.
Yeah.
That's where I felt
yeah.
like it took me a long time.
Yeah. Well, he was a big guy overall, so I felt like I had a good amount to push on, so that helped. Add some cushion for the pushing.
Pushing for the pushing.
All right. Well, what are we going to do? We're going to do another.
Yeah. Sorry I missed you guys, but I'll be here next week, guys.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Cool.
Wrap it up, nerds.
Hi, bye.
Hi and bye.
Yeah.
I feel like we had some
We had a good conversation. You know what I was thinking
pretty
about,
deep
John?
conversations.
We did.
Yeah.
It was deep. It was chill. It's definitely not as funny when you're not here, John.
Oh shit! Well, thanks, guys.
You bring a good energy to the show.
Absolutely. Yeah, we got we rabbit holed it where we were just like,
Yeah.
Yeah, John's the life of the podcast. That's
but it
for
was
sure.
a great conversation. That was a great
Thank you.
conversation.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Good, man.
Well,
Thank you
freaking
for
awesome.
coming.
Thanks
Well,
for coming.
No,
and
thanks for
sharing
having
with us.
me.
We absolutely need to have you back.
Oh, yeah.
Anytime, guys. You just have to do this, and I just walk over the bridge, and I'm here.
Sweet.
You know what we're gonna touch base on probably the next time you're on, because you're kind of like new into this painting thing, but also like already like in the realm where other people would be like, you've only been painting that long, you know what I mean? I could only imagine like the cool conversations that we could have, because there's so many tattooers out there that even with our own podcast, we don't really talk about, like, we talk about tattooing and many aspects of it a lot, but we haven't really delved too deep into like, the painting world, tattooers that become painters, or painters that have tried to become tattooers, and how those things cross pattern and, good, bad. I think it's pretty interesting too.
We've had one or two comments of people asking for more conversation about actual painting and drawing technique.
Okay,
So maybe we can even get a little into that.
I'll
Absolutely.
be down for that, definitely.
Yeah, joined by our master painter, Matt Buck.
Yeah.
Right.
Put him in
Even
this
Matt Buck,
conversation. We can get
have
him in here.
Freaking like so good at art,
Yeah.
Big facts.
Faux show.
Yep.
Well, guys,
Excellent.
hope you guys enjoyed this episode of The Honest Tattooer.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next week.
Thanks.
Peace.
Thanks for having me.
I do need to redo that.
All right, we did it.
I don't know if you want to do it.
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, cool.
Give me a little.
Do-do-do.